If you've seen Netflix's hit show Dubai Bling, then you definitely know Ebraheem Al Samadi. He's all about the drama, the glitz, the glamour. But behind that huge multi-million dollar persona, there's a story that you've probably never heard. And that's really the heart of it, isn't it? He says it himself. The go-to assumption is that it's all inherited wealth, that it was all just handed to him on a silver platter. Well, today we're going to peel back that assumption and see what's really underneath. And make no mistake, the success is absolutely real. We're talking about a combined business valuation of over $15 million. I mean, this isn't pocket change. And it's exactly this level of success that makes his actual origin story so much more remarkable. So let's just hit rewind. Let's go way, way back, long before the cameras and the bling. This is where it all begins. The catalyst, the moment that forced him to literally start from zero. I mean, just look at this timeline. It shows you just how fast his entire world got flipped upside down. Before he was 14, he admits life was easy, comfortable. His dad provided everything they wanted. But then, at 14, his parents get divorced. His mother decides to leave with nothing but her own peace of mind. And Ebraheem goes with her. Just like that, everything was gone. They had to start completely over. And this quote right here reveals his entire motivation. It was never about getting the luxury back for himself. He says he felt this huge weight of responsibility. Suddenly, he was the man of the house, and he was driven by one single powerful goal: to give his mom and his sister the life that they had lost. So, how does a teenager with that kind of pressure on his shoulders even respond? Well, with pure, unfiltered hustle. This is the story of how he became a self-made millionaire before he was even technically old enough to own his own company. He started small, just like so many entrepreneurs do. He was reselling jeans online, became a power seller on eBay. But here's the key, the really smart part. He didn't spend the profits. Nope. He saved up that capital and used it to launch his very first physical business, these mall kiosks for a patented skating shoe called Wheelies. And that was the thing that changed everything. And it all came together at this age, 17. He made his first $1 million before he was even an adult. We're talking long before Dubai, long before the show. This was a kid who built his own fortune, literally from the ground up. But his American dream, as it turns out, was about to hit a massive wall. He had the money, he had the success, but something just wasn't right. This next turning point explains why he decided to leave it all behind for a totally new vision in Dubai. The contrast is pretty stark when you lay it out like this. The things pushing him away from America were serious. He talks about the discrimination his family faced after 9/11 and just a deep, profound lack of safety. On the other side, you have Dubai pulling him in, offering a sense of belonging, visionary leadership, and this competitive business spirit that he felt was missing back in the States. And nothing illustrates that feeling of safety more than this one word. When his sister first arrived in Dubai from the US, he asked her to describe how she felt. Her answer? Comfortable. He said it almost brought him to tears, because that was a feeling she never had in America, where she was just constantly looking over her shoulder. And that feeling, that sense of comfort and belonging, it directly translated into massive business success. He is absolutely convinced that the environment in Dubai let him accelerate his growth at a rate that would have been impossible anywhere else. What he says would have taken 10 years in America took him 1 year in Dubai. This move wasn't just a business decision, though. It was really about a fundamental difference in worldview. So let's kind of dig into his philosophy on the core differences he sees between the East and the West. He defines it as collective freedom, which is a fascinating concept. The idea is basically that your freedom stops where my freedom begins. It's this notion that the community's right to not be offended by public acts is just as important as an individual's right to act freely. It's a very different spin on a word we hear all the time. He also contrasts the business cultures he's experienced. In his view, the US has more of a culture of followers, people who value the routine of a 9-to-5. But in the Middle East and parts of Asia, he sees a much stronger business spirit, a competitive drive that's just baked into the culture. So it really makes you wonder, doesn't it? Is this combination, this idea of collective freedom and an ingrained business spirit, is that the fundamental difference when it comes to building a life and a career in these two very different parts of the world? Okay, let's move to our final section and see how this all comes together. Because after all the money and all the fame, what does he believe really matters when the cameras stop rolling? What's the legacy that he actually wants to build? So for him, the ultimate measure of success, it's not the bottom line, it's reputation. As he puts it, he could make anyone a billionaire, but doing it the right way, the ethical way, that's what matters. A good name, he believes, is the biggest asset anyone can have, because you only get one. And this isn't just talk. His future focus is all about giving back. He's creating a nonprofit, he wants to open an orphanage specifically to teach business skills, and he prioritizes his employees' well-being above all else. At the end of the day, he wants to be remembered for his humanity, not for his bank account. His whole story really leaves us with a powerful question to think about for ourselves. If reputation really is the ultimate currency, what is your legacy worth?